that same slot.
Yeah, make sure everybody is looking at the 2024B.
All right, check it
that David
now.
did.
It's showing the view.
Yeah, now we're back.
Now I'm seeing
Now
them.
we're up.
Yep.
Yeah, now we're up. Okay. All right. So here we go. I'm going to click start.
Nobody in YouTube land knows what you're doing. You might want to start from the beginning.
Should I start from the okay? Well, so what we're doing is we're testing share all screens. This share all screens option that Zoom has given us. So what we did is, just as a backup, is I went into the settings. You have to enable it. You have to first enable multiple people can share at the same time. That then gives you the option to turn on, what is it called again? I forget what it's called now.
All screen share.
All screen share. Once we did that, you do have to restart Zoom, or not restart Zoom, but you had canceled the meeting. We went open up another meeting. Now I got a new option under share screens that said start all screens mode. I said yes, and now what I'm seeing, I'm going to bring up. So this is my primary Zoom window right here. All right. So I've got one of the screen shares here, and on my secondary Zoom monitor, I've got all of these. So I've got Gerald here, and I've got what I presume is one of his. So I can see, so next to him, I've got one desktop and two desktop. Gerald, can you just confirm, I don't know if you can see me. These are your two desktops?
Yes, they are.
All right, great. And then for Ray, dear Lord, Ray, I've got one, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
For Mike, I've got 1. And then if I go to the next page, I can see Pete, 1 of 3, Frank, 1 of 2, and Eyal, it looks like there's just one, there's one thing there. Okay, so now what can I do with this? Let's
just a minute, David. You didn't see my screens, did you?
Well, I haven't. Wait a second.
I'll
No.
have to scroll to the right.
No,
There's
Okay.
a blue arrow on the far right for you to see the other.
No, but I did that.
Okay. You didn't see my screens because I said not now. I didn't give you permission. So I think that's an important feature. Yeah. In other words, I have the last say as to whether you can see my screens or not.
And now just another thing related to that, Robert, when I hover over your icon here in the window, I have a button here that says request share. So because I can say that, let me just click it just to see what happens. You don't have to say yes. So I clicked request share, and what did you get on your end?
The host is requesting you to share your desktops.
And then you can again deny.
I say not now or start sharing.
Great.
But if this was an exam, I would kick him out of I would say, before the course started, this is a requirement. if you don't comply, you fail the exam or you fail the test, or I'd put you in the waiting room or something.
Right. Pete, go ahead.
So one thing I have noticed here is that this time around, I cannot select what monitor to share.
Exactly, because the point of this is for the person who's running this to see your entire computer for proctoring exams. That's really what this is for.
Okay.
What this won't be good for. So if I had, let's say I was teaching a class and I just wanted, and everyone had created a keynote, and I just wanted everyone to share their keynote, this really doesn't do that, because it's going to show me everything.
Can you have a check of the statistics? I'd like to know what this is doing in this, because this is a lot of screen shares at the same time, right?
Yeah. So,
I also think I read somewhere there was a maximum amount of participants you could do this with right now, but I may be misremembering.
So right now, I'm not really sure how to read this. You'll have to help me, but it says latency on screen share, latency 31 milliseconds. The resolution is 3840 by 1600 frames per second. No packet loss. Overall, I'm at 78%. No, sorry. Zoom is only at 9% of CPU usage.
That's not a lot.
Yeah, but you're looking at the overall. Can you click on screen sharing?
Yeah, that's where I was before.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I mean, nothing is really jumping out here.
I guess the Zoom server's doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Okay,
okay.
let me just reconfirm this because now I understand what Frank has been saying, that this is for an exam type situation. This is one of the use cases. So if I, as one of the students, am asked to share my screen, I can't do that now.
Well, you declined, but
Well, I'm referring to Pete couldn't do it. Pete tried.
Wait, say that one more
well,
time.
he doesn't get an option to select which screen. He has to share all screens connected to his computer.
Ah, okay.
He can't say, I'm just going to show you monitor 1 because you might be cheating on monitor 2. You have to show all the screens connected to your computer.
But I'm just referring to a share screen. If I want to share a PowerPoint or
You
share
click the
some
green
other,
button. Yeah.
but it doesn't allow me to do that anymore.
For what it's worth, I can do it. So I just clicked on that button, and as host, it looks like I can still choose what I want to share. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and share. So what happened to you all? Because I'm now, I just turned on a screen share.
I'm seeing your slide share.
Robert's not a co-host, and so he does not have the ability to share screen, but I'm a co-host. I can share screen. So maybe there's an option in there that only the host and co-hosts now can actually share their screen, but all of the other kind of quote unquote students in the room can't share their screen, and you're able to monitor them using the fancy new capability.
So I now lost, when I shared screen, I lost all of your shares. So my share overrode all of yours.
What if you stop sharing? Does it go back, or do you have to start over?
So now and it went back.
So I have
That's
one
so
other
interesting.
request of you, if you have the ability. The perfect way to use this, and I've been talking to Zoom about this for 2 years, but I couldn't discuss it with you guys, is focus mode at the same time. If I really want to have a good proctored situation, I would put everybody into focus mode so nobody could see each other except for the instructor. And then the instructor hopefully can turn this on and see everybody's screens at the same time, but the students can't be aware of each other.
All right, ready? And then Pete, I'll pull you up after that. I'm starting focus mode. So for me, because I'm the host, nothing has changed. I still see everyone here, and I can scroll through the different people, and I can scroll through their multiple desktops. Although, wait a second, how do I get through? Why can't I change? I can't move through his desktops here. I'm not sure why. Oh, there it is, sorry. Okay, so what are you all seeing now that we're in focus mode?
I can see
I'm a co-host and nothing changed.
I can see the co-hosts because you're not regular participants, but everyone else I just see their name. I don't see their pictures or the cameras or their screens.
So is that what you were hoping for?
Yeah, there's one more refinement I really wish Zoom would make, which is I wish Zoom would give us a way that when someone's not showing their video, we can also not allow users to see each other's names.
Right.
There's a requirement in education and probably other situations where I don't want, if I'm the meeting host, I don't want anyone to have any understanding when they're in focus mode of who anyone else is in the meeting. So I don't want these names revealed. I wish there was I don't believe there's a way to do that yet, but Zoom really needs to create that so that
There needs to be a security button of participant anonymity,
Yeah.
which would also turn off the participant window for them.
Yeah, that would meet all the requirements, and many institutions want this.
Incognito.
So here's something else that's interesting. So what are you all seeing? Sorry, so we're out of focus mode now. Are you seeing, you're not seeing any, are you seeing the slideshow demo screen share?
I can see it on I can see it on my secondary Zoom. You know, when you put Zoom in dual monitor mode, and
Right.
I can see the slide demo there. on my primary Zoom, everything window, it's in speaker mode,
Right. So
and I can
what?
see your screen or whatever you're doing.
So
Oh,
if I
so
pull
definitely
up,
somebody's writing on my slide, but go
right.
ahead.
So that's what. Yeah. That's no. That was me. That's what I want to show. So if I switch to Ayal's now, so now you should all be seeing it's sort of just a blank gray screen. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So I have on mine a little annotate button. And if I click that, I can annotate on his screen for all of you to see.
Right, and I see it too.
Yeah, and mine.
So now, so wait, so if I want to change now, I'm going to change and I'm going to show Mike's. And now I can do the same thing over here. I have got this annotate button.
Yeah. So David,
Oh,
when
wait,
you did
who? Oh, can
the-
everyone annotate when I click that?
I'm already on it. I'm doing it right now.
Oh, so when I click that,
I
that
have to
turns on
click my own
annotation for
annotate.
oh, everyone has an annotate button. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All the co-hosts have an annotate button. I believe do the other participants have a?
I don't know. Pete, do you have an annotate button in the bottom
Yes,
left?
Yes.
Everyone
no,
does.
it is on my secondary monitor. It says you're viewing Mike's screen view options. I click view options.
Oh, so you have it there. Okay.
I can change ratio, request remote control, and annotate.
It's interesting. Maybe this isn't new. This little button down, this little pencil down here, I had always seen it in the view options up here, and I still have it there. But now when I just kind of hover over this, I get this, which is really nice. I like this a lot better than having to go up there.
One thing, David, when you swapped from Mike's screen share to Alan's, it didn't change on my screen.
So I'm doing it again now. I just changed.
I can still see Mike's.
Huh.
I can see it change on your screen share. That's your virtual
right.
camera, but I can't see it on the screen share itself.
So, yeah, what each participant sees for this type of a thing, like I wouldn't want another student in the meeting to see another kid's screen. That doesn't make any sense to me. Frank,
You don't want Robert to see that Frank is cheating.
right.
Yeah, yeah, they'll
Frank,
copy the results.
am I not understanding this? I mean, doesn't it make sense that if I, as the host, should be able to see everyone's screen, but why would other people?
I don't think Zoom announced this as proctoring mode necessarily. That's why I was asking about focus mode. If you can combine the two, I don't think this was released as proctoring mode. It's all screen share mode, and maybe it's desirable in some situations to be able to see lots of screens. This is my first experience seeing it in action since it's been released, so I'm not that knowledgeable about it yet.
I'm gonna just. So I also have an all screens button up here. Again, this is my main Zoom window here. I'm gonna just click on that and I'm gonna stop all screens mode, just so we can all see what happens. So now I'm right back to, this is my primary Zoom window and this is my secondary Zoom window. I'm just curious, if I click on screen share, it's just gonna bring up the regular old screen share dialog for me.
Yeah, they're both the same right now.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'm no longer sharing now when you did that, David.
Right, so now I'm gonna go back in, I'm gonna start it again. Oh, wait, last time I didn't click allow participants to view shares. Now let me, but you did, but you only saw the share that I had chosen, except that that didn't work for you, Robert. So now let me change this and let's start again. And so now people should be able to share.
Hey, but I didn't click on start sharing my own. Maybe if I don't accept.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, maybe that is the case.
Yeah, interesting, David. As a co-host, Ray, are you seeing this too? I'm not being prompted to share.
That's
Really?
correct. I was not.
So can you join the share? Like, I wonder what happens if you.
But I do see the film strip at the top with 6 faces, and I see the 6 kind of side-by-side screen share versions and the ability to like swap over and see a couple of others.
And are you using dual monitor mode or just single monitor mode?
No, just single monitor.
Okay.
I'm using dual.
Robert, Robert, I just changed what I'm viewing, and I'm curious if it changed for you. I changed from a black screen with Pete has a black screen with lots of app or files on it, and then I switched to Ayal's which has the Zoom page on it.
Yeah, I can see that, but at the top it says that I'm viewing Frank's screen.
Huh. Well, maybe each person chooses which one they want to. But now that I said that you can see all of them, you probably can choose which one to see, right? Or do you also? Do you also have?
I have the classical old select which shared screen I see. So this is like a multiple screen share, nothing else.
Sorry, Frank, you wanted to jump in before.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that I think I read somewhere, I do a lot of Zoom reading, so it's hard to remember. Dual monitor mode is suggested for all screen share usage for all participants. Which
certainly for the host, because for the host,
definitely for the host, but
yeah.
I think I read it's recommended for everyone when you're going to do that.
Yeah.
David, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Can you request only one person to share their screens?
Not with this. Once I've started it, I can see who hasn't. So, for example, when I scroll over Ray Franklin, I just have the unmute option. When I scroll over you, I don't have the unmute. I've got request share, although I imagine if I if I go to the 3 dots, yeah, I get the mute button there. So once I start this, I can request individuals, but when you start it, it's just a blanket. It sends out to everyone.
Okay, I'm with you. Because for a moment, I was just wondering if this is something we can use for support when someone's stuck, just to see what's on their screens.
Well, right. With a traditional screen share, which is what they would do, you only get the one monitor. It would be nice for support to be able to have all screens, but not for all people. Right.
Correct.
Interesting.
So one of the other things I think I read was that sound isn't supported, audio, like system audio isn't supported during this mode, which makes sense because could you imagine the noise from 15 or 20 people's screen shares?
Yeah, well, someone play a video or something. Let's see what happens. By the way, the Zoom, the YouTube feed is still on a different screen share. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's locked on the slideshow demo.
Yeah, what
has been,
which is mine.
It just changed.
And
now it changed. Wait, why did it change?
I just shut it off. I just stopped the share because I was going to actually do a video if you wanted.
Wait. So is this you? So who we watch? I'm so confused. It was stuck on you, Mike? And is this still your screen now?
No, I'm not sharing it all
it's
now.
Frank's screen. No, it's not. This is AL's. Who's what?
Somebody's
See, the problem
showing
is we're all
YouTube
sharing
dancers.
the Zoom. That's the problem. We're all
I'm
sharing the
I'm
same
playing
Zoom.
music.
Well, wait a second. Hold on. Who is the originator of the video with the wildflowers now? Who's showing that?
It's me, yeah.
That's AL. Okay. And Frank, you're just showing the Zoom meeting, right? On your screen share?
Yeah, I
One
just
of your
have
desktops.
the Zoom interface and
Right. Okay. Because I see. Okay. I got you. So what I'm actually, what I have in my screen is Frank, but Ayal's is what's going out to YouTube. How is YouTube choosing Eyal's screen share?
That's the one I can see.
The best video.
Eyal wins for the best video. It's really interesting how, so Robert, you're also seeing his.
Correct.
Mike, start your screen share again because you had everyone's attention before it went to Eyal. I'm wondering if you start again. Oh, wait. But you're a co-host, right?
Yep, sorry, correct.
You
There you
are
go.
you are a co-host.
Yeah, and my screen is now sharing.
Yeah, so you took it back. You took the screen share back. Incidentally, when he shared, that did come into my sort of carousel, if you will, here. When I share as host, it looks like it overtakes everyone. But when co-hosts share, it just joins the carousel. I'm now on YouTube, yours took over again, but on mine, I'm still seeing Eyal's. And Robert, what do you see now?
I can see Eyal's.
So yours didn't switch.
But maybe it's something to do with the fact that I didn't select that option to share my screens.
Well, no, let's ask someone who isn't Frank, what are you seeing on yours? In sort of your main Zoom, what's the main share?
On monitor 1, I'm seeing a video of some trees and sunlight.
Yeah, so that's Eyal's.
And then on screen 2, I'm seeing, it looks like 1, 2, 3, I guess the all screen share mode.
The all screen share, yeah. Huh.
But it's random. It's picking up.
I'm not hearing audio from the YouTube though.
Here we go.
Now you don't have, do you have an option? We can't hear it. Do you have an option to like turn on? I don't see anything.
We don't want to listen to YouTube video. We'll get knocked down.
No, but even, do you have anywhere, do you have an option to share audio on your screen share?
Let me see. No.
No.
I don't think he's supposed to.
I'm getting a pop-up when I'm clicking on the new share. The host is requesting you to share your desktop with all participants. But I am sharing actually. I'll do it again. I'll click again and see if it changes anything. No, the green indication that I'm sharing is still on.
How many screens do you have?
One.
Eyal?
One.
You have one. Okay. That I just want to say the only thing that I can see on yours is the YouTube video. I can't see any of your Zoom stuff.
My Zoom is tiny thumbnail on this side.
Okay.
I can change mode.
No.
So-
I was only asking because I'm curious if Zoom is hiding its own interfaces.
And
think
and
it's-
that's the normal
Exactly,
operation of Zoom
yeah.
is to not show the Zoom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The user can select what they want to see based on the 4 options. And I was on the option number 2, which is tiny thumbnail. And it's mine, right? So you don't need to technically see that. It's
Well,
not
no,
a-
what I was curious about if I could see your Zoom interface, because going back to, was it Robert's question about offering support, if I can't see, if it defaults to the Zoom behavior that usually does when the Zoom interface is hidden, then that's not helpful.
Dave, just a minute. I'm getting confused because
So am I.
because the shared screen is being used in 2 different contexts here. We're not talking about the green button shared screen. We're talking about individuals who are participants sharing their monitors, their desktops with other people. So the word shared is being used twice here. I think we need to be clear as to which one we're referring to. I'm confused.
Right. Okay, so
Because Eyal is doing a green button share screen.
Correct.
No, but
Maybe.
what AL was share when I started the all screen share, he joined. That's when he started sharing.
Yeah, but the point is he's doing a screen share using the green button.
I don't think he is. I think he
I
just
am.
said yes.
No. I am. My green button is green.
Well, but everyone has a green button.
Yeah, but I got prompt. Do you want to share? I said yes.
Yeah. But that was from the all screen share. Yes, that's what everyone clicked.
Mhm.
Right. I don't think he's not doing a separate, I don't think anyone can do a traditional screen share at this point, except for the host. I can do it,
That's correct. That's correct.
but no one else can.
Yeah, try it just to see, so we have it on record.
Yeah. So if I click on it, then I get
Yeah.
the pop-up here.
Yeah, so
But do any of you have, any of you click on the share screen button at the bottom of your Zoom interface?
David, as co-host, I have the option of sound. I did find that, so I can share sound.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on
But
a
you're a
second.
co-host.
Yeah,
Right.
no, but go ahead and play. I'm just curious so we can hear it.
Yeah.
Are you
Okay.
able to
So
play
I'm going to
something?
stop. I'm going to stop sharing the PowerPoint, and then I'm going to bring in a video. So I'll be right back.
Yeah. But hold on a second. Mike, how many screens do you have?
Two.
So I can only see one of your screens.
Correct, because I only shared the PowerPoint.
But
He's a co-host. He's not a
all screens
regular
mode
attendee.
doesn't, right. So all screens mode doesn't apply to co-hosts. That's
Hold
what
on.
you're saying.
Right.
That's what we're saying.
I'm seeing two screens for Mike. I see Mike's camera, and then next to that I see slideshow demo
Well,
that's kind of purpley.
On the left-hand side, you're actually seeing what you would normally see in a meeting, their picture or their icon. And on the right-hand column, you're seeing their screen shares. And it either says desktop 1 of 2 or 2 of 2 if they have multiples. And if they don't have multiples on that right-hand side, it says nothing. And you can
Correct. So-
switch between them with the little arrow on either side.
Right. So here at the bottom, so I'm looking at, so Eyal is here and he has one monitor, one screen, and there's nothing at the bottom here. If I go down to, wait, where'd he go? If I go to Frank, for example, I've got Frank over here, and then the bottom of his, I can see desktop 2 of 2, and I get these little arrows here on either side, and I can switch between the two desktops.
yep.
And there's a blue expand to full screen. So if you wanted to see his view full screen,
Full screen. Yeah.
you could do that.
Which gives me just that one. Oh, I see. Right. Okay. And I can switch between the two. But what I was saying before is that, so for you, Mike,
Mm-hmm.
so essentially because you're a co-host, I don't have access to your whole desktop. I
Right,
only have
because the
access
only
to
thing
what
that-
you choose.
What I chose to share.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Uh-oh.
On the screen share window, if I hover over Mike, for example, I get 3 dots, and I get view his profile or chat when I go to his camera view on the left column.
Yeah.
So if I hover over any of the camera views on the left side, I get 3 dots in the right-hand top corner that allow me to, well, for that person, it's chat. For Mike, I get chat or view profile.
Well, because what Zoom is doing is it's taking the gallery view and it's just reorganizing it into this.
Yeah, and then next to that, I get the
Right.
the screen share with the expand to full screen.
And I also have, as host, and I'd be curious if co-hosts have this, I have stop participant sharing at the very top of that option. So if someone, yeah. Robert, sorry.
I have a different layout because if I look at Frank, I have Frank on the left-hand side. I have his desktop on the right-hand side, but I can't choose. I can't select which desktop I can look at.
I have a question for you. Is everyone on the latest version of Zoom?
Which
Which is what today?
517?
517.
10?
I've got 517.7.
I think I'm on 517.10, but let me look.
517.10 is what I'm on.
I'm not. I'm on
5:17:10.
I'm on 5:17:2. Okay, let me come back.
I think if you're not up to date, that may play a role on how it's interacting with you.
Thank you.
Mike, did you want to try and play some music?
Yeah, I will drop the share and I'll bring back VLC playing Big Buck Bunny, which I know we won't get any hits on. So I'll be right back on that.
Mike, do you have switch share or what's it called? New share?
New share.
Or, yeah.
New share.
Is that what you have?
I did have it when I was sharing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I wasn't sure if it behaved the same. So it essentially behaves. Co-hosts and hosts have the exact same sharing behavior. Everyone else doesn't.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So
Kind of like being in a webinar, the hosts and co-hosts have certain privileges, and then all of the other participants
Right.
have another privilege. Yeah.
Right.
So for a
Sorry,
long
Frank.
time, I was in, conversation with Zoom about this, and internally we were calling it proctoring mode. Obviously Zoom didn't choose to call it that, but it seems to me like focus mode plus all screen share mode, pretty close to proctoring mode that I've asked for, except that, like Ray said earlier, there's no security button where I can anonymize all users, which is a shortcoming for me.
Mike, when you share, do you have the you presumably have the share audio option and the what's that other button? Make it best for video. What's that? I forget what it's called.
Yeah,
Optimize.
Optimize for
Optimize
video.
Yeah, you have both of those buttons.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay, I've updated and come back, and I still don't have that option. And maybe it's something to do with not accepting the request from the host to share my desktops.
Let me I'll request again, and then if you want, you can. I'm not sharing my screen right now, so even if it won't go out to YouTube if you say yes.
Yeah. So, and just second thing is, even though I didn't accept, I can still see everyone else's screen, at least one screen, desktop.
Right. Because and that's because I initially, when I set this up, I said let everyone see everyone else's screens.
And David, I just wanted to let everybody know what I'm seeing here. I can click on the share sound, but I cannot click on optimize for video clip. I don't know if is that a setting at my end or is that a meeting setting? That's a question.
I'm guessing that because of the amount of video involved in screen sharing among all of us, that is probably already set optimally. Because if just you were screen sharing, you'd want it to be 29 frames per second and full screen. And maybe it's just like, no, we're not doing that for you in this case.
It's not just you. I can't click
Right.
it either.
Right.
Yeah.
For any of us.
Okay. No, I was just double checking if it was my
Interesting.
settings computer wise or if it's a Zoom
Yeah.
thing. All right, here we go.
Interesting.
No audio at this point. I'm muted. So is everybody seeing my share first off?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
And by the way, and your share is the one that's on YouTube right now.
Okay. All right. And I did tell it to do stereo audio just for adding that extra layer because I did have the choice between mono and stereo and I took it. And here we go. I'm unmuting.
Yeah. The video quality is terrible. The frame rate is just awful.
Okay.
The YouTube looks decent.
Really?
All right.
Maybe it's just me then, because
I might be running out of resources because I am doing a lot of monitoring here. So let me
All right,
just
so
check.
I shouldn't have.
I'm not seeing any pixelation or what looks like frame
All right,
drop or
I
anything
shouldn't have
like that.
blamed Zoom. That may have been me. I apologize. I shouldn't have
Yeah,
jumped.
I know that right now with the video playing and such, I am pegging my CPU. So just give me a few seconds and I will modify that.
While we're waiting, one thing that I'm annoyed about is, unless I've done a very poor search, I can't find detailed instructions besides the release notes about how this is supposed to work. Or like, I don't like when companies release new features and they don't have the documentation ready at the same time.
I couldn't
So
find
normally,
the
Frank,
documentation either.
Sorry,
those
Robert,
details.
Hold on one second, Robert. Sorry, what were you saying? And then
I searched left and right, and in the Zoom support, I couldn't find the
You couldn't
instructions
find
either.
either. Yeah. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No,
So
no.
normally those details are attached. There are two versions of the release notes. There's the release note for the specific date, and there's the release note for the particular product. And if you go to the release note for the particular product, that's where they annotate in the major titles and so forth, a link to the thing that describes it. And I know that the documentation guys stay very busy updating those things because I watch the Zoom events one very carefully. And I can tell when someone has finished adding a piece of detail because all of a sudden that link shows up on the full product listing for that particular date.
Sure, no disagreement. All I'm saying is, and I don't blame the particular individuals on that team, it's a resource issue, but
yeah,
companies shouldn't release new functionality without having the documentation ready on the same day that they release the functionality.
Yeah, but Zoom pushes the envelope type of a company and not a let's be careful.
Well, they also laid off hundreds of workers, in the last year or so. That probably didn't help either.
And they also bought back a whole bunch of stock recently. So
I saw that.
Yeah, that a few people got very happy.
I think Mike posted that in Discord.
Yes,
I did.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mike. Thank you.
You're welcome, guys. All right, here we go. Going back to audio.
Yeah, I've got the audio. Yeah, we can all hear it.
I don't hear it.
What?
I don't hear it.
I hear
You
it.
have original sound on?
Yeah, I hear it.
No, it's clean. It's very good.
The bird just fell off.
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah,
More music.
I had to,
As a co-host, I don't hear it.
More
But
music.
those of you,
I don't hear anything.
Yeah, I
Wait,
feel like
this
I'm
is-
at the movies.
This is strange. Hold on. Frank can hear it. I can hear it, but Pete can not hear it, and Ray can't hear it.
David,
I can hear it
who's
back. I can
who's
hear
up-
it coming back. So
Who's on a Mac?
Mac.
I'm on a Mac and I cannot hear it.
Exactly.
Maybe
Mac
it's a
can
Mac
hear it.
PC thing.
Yeah.
Pete, you're on a PC, right?
That's correct.
And Ray, you're on a PC, right? Yeah.
and I'm PC setting it to. So
Frank, you're Mac?
All the time, baby.
So that's what it is. It's a Mac
It's a
versus
Mac.
PC thing. All right, let's stop the sound. It's a Mac versus PC thing. Good call, Robert. Wow.
that's
What's-
interesting.
What's the highest version for PC right now? It's 5.
.10.
Oh, you're on .10 as well. Okay, I thought
Yep.
maybe it was a dot thing.
Yeah, no, I updated my client over here on my other machine, and it's not getting it either.
But is one Mac and one PC? Or, oh, sorry.
Happy birthday.
Is one Mac and one PC, or are they both?
They were both Macs.
Yeah, just FYI, I have muted. So if you want me to turn the audio again, I can.
No, I think we're good. That's that. All right. There are some rough edges. Maybe.
Okay, I've got one more observation. I have updated to the latest version now, and I still cannot see anyone's second desktop.
But you shouldn't, because you're. Oh, or should you? As a non-co-host, should you be able to see?
But the
Look,
use
look
cases,
for
I-
Frank's now. Can you see Frank's?
I have a big
Frank's,
text
Frank-
document that says Frank Screen 2, so I'm trying to make it really obvious for you guys.
yeah, you've done that now. It's changed, so now I can see
Yeah.
Frank's screen too.
So
But
I,
Where's
as a
Frank's
co-host,
screen one?
clicked between the two. So I think the co-host, whichever one a host has selected, I have desktop 2 of 2, and if I click to the other one, what is desktop 1 of 2, it goes back to the other one.
So you decide what I see.
That's
Yes.
interesting also. Huh.
Okay. I didn't realize that it works that way.
Yeah.
So it's got nothing to do with the fact
You
that
asked
I
the
didn't
question.
accept the host's request to share my desktops.
Yeah.
It's to do with your setting. Okay.
I see a lot of support tickets in my future if I turn this on until there's documentation.
And training. I mean, this is not something you could just turn on and say, go for it.
Well, really what was, we have a testing center, like a group that does testing. And in Zoom, you can create groups and give groups special abilities that the rest of the people in your account don't have. And that was sort of where I was heading, but still need more documentation before I would even go that far.
Yeah.
This is quite a major change in functionality. There are lots of pieces to this change.
So here's something else. So I'm
No longer
confused.
sharing.
Yeah, no, I think it's just the size of my window. Oh no, okay, forget it. It's just the size of my window, sorry. I am able to stop individuals sharing.
You did with me.
Right. And I just did Frank. So one at a time, I can stop individual sharing if I want to.
After you stop someone from sharing, are they able to share again immediately, or do you have to request them to share before they can share again?
Well, Mike, you're a co-host, so
I know. I don't count.
Share?
I know.
Frank, can you reshare? Can you? Well, probably not.
I've never shared except accepting your request to enter that new mode.
Okay, so a request share would negate that. Yeah.
But what, Frank? Do you have a share screen button at the bottom that you can press?
Yeah, I do.
What happens when you press it?
All screen modes is currently on. You can only share your desktop. All participants will be able to view all content on your screens. Not now or start sharing.
Oh, so okay. So if
I'll take
so
a screenshot.
yes.
Hold on.
No, so Frank can restart his share, but it goes back into the all screen sharing.
Yeah.
Because you're allowing that, though. Remember,
Correct.
you had the option when you initiated this mode to allow us to do that or not, right?
I think no. The option that I had was allow you to see all the other. I think.
I don't think so, because I didn't accept that and I could see everyone else's desktop.
No, but you don't have to accept anything. So I'm actually going to stop for a moment. I'm going to stop all screens mode. And and I'll just bring this back so everyone can see it again. So when I go in and I start all screens mode, I have this allow participants to view shares. So this time I have that on. I'll turn
If you
it
uncheck
off
that.
now.
Yeah.
And I'll do start. So now everyone got an invitation to share their screen. Frank has already done it, and you can see that I can see it.
Minus co-hosts.
Right. So co-hosts are not as interesting to me as so I can now see Frank, Al, and Zoom One. Robert, what do you see?
I can see Frank. I can see the same thing I saw last time, I think.
But you don't see their screen shares though. Your Zoom hasn't changed, right?
Well, I can see next to EL, I can see this countryside.
Wait. Let me turn mine off.
Okay, you've turned everything off. Now I can only see you.
Okay, right. So, sorry, what you were seeing before, you weren't actually seeing the screen shares. You were seeing me. I was screen scraping them for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Yeah.
So now as a participant, your view is just a normal Zoom view, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay. There's one other thing. You know, we asked the question why we're seeing EL's screen share as the first one, as everyone's seeing it. because on the listing where you choose to which screen you want to watch, it's alphabetically listed, and Eyal was at the top of that list.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
But you're not seeing any screen share right now, are you?
No.
No.
Neither is YouTube.
Right. But I can, if I go back in, I do have that option. And you're right. It's right. E, F, P, and then Z. Yeah. Just alphabetical. Fascinating.
And just an FYI, we're getting some interesting closed captioning language on YouTube.
You
Do you
mean
think
bad
that's-
words?
Well, someone switched it on, and I can see Polish closed captioning.
Polish? Really?
It might have been Polish. I didn't catch it, Robert, to be honest.
it might be individual settings.
He's in Poland. That's why.
I'm not allowed to speak Polish outside of Poland.
Sure. Some do it better than others.
Well, Frank, I think your instruction team is going to have an easy job. They only have to look at this video and they'll see all the ins and outs of this functionality.
No, I wouldn't subject them to this chaos. It'll be a well edited thing when I share.
Hey.
This is the test
Watch
kitchen.
what you're calling chaos.
This is the test kitchen. We want the chaos. We welcome the chaos. But for people who don't do this,
training, yeah.
they want something easy to digest.
So I'd like to try one more thing if it's okay. So in order to, so I just stopped the all screens. In order to set this up, just as a reminder, let me go back to here. Bear with me. So back in settings, I had to enable multiple participants can share simultaneously. That allowed me to enable all screens mode. So now I'm curious. I'm not going to enable all screens mode, but can I have a couple people, 2 or 3 people share screen? And I'm curious, maybe more than 2 if possible, like 3 people, just on your own. And I'm curious if anything looks different.
David, co-host or non-co-host?
Either, whatever.
David, just slow down because you're in the portal. You'd need to restart the meeting if you've changed something in the portal settings.
I'm in the portal? Like,
Are you not changing something in the back end?
You're in the back end.
what does that mean? I'm in the back end.
You're doing admin changes.
No, I didn't change anything. I was just showing people.
You're discussing it anyways, so
Yeah,
Robert's
no,
concerned.
No, I didn't actually change anything. All right, so I see Eyal is screen sharing and Ray is screen sharing. So I got one screen share on each of my Zoom monitors. If someone else is able to, maybe just one more. I'm curious if it. Oh, there we go. We've got 4 people now. By the way, this doesn't update. This view options under shared screens doesn't update when people share screens. So basically, when people choose to share on their own, you don't get that grid view or the gallery view that we got with share all screens.
I don't think multi-screen share is part of the current release. This
No,
was available earlier.
Right. So sorry, let me clarify. What I was wondering is we have this new interface for all screens mode where it takes all the shares and puts them in basically in one screen. That is not the case when multiple people share on their own. You still have to go to the drop down and choose what do you want to see in each of your Zoom windows. You don't get all those shares that you can see at
Which
once.
drop down do you go to pick which thing you want to see?
From view at the top of your screen, it says view options next to you are viewing.
Oh, okay. So
and you
I'm
can-
sharing, so I don't get that. Gotcha.
You should get that, no? Next to you are view, really?
You should get that. You should get that, right?
Okay, let's, I have to go over to the more thing that's hovering over, I guess.
Yeah, I'm officially now sharing. That took a little bit. I was stuck on loading there for a little bit. Now I'm officially sharing.
And yeah, Mike, that's happened a couple times here, which is interesting, is that it's not, when so many people are sharing, it's not quite as instantaneous. Mike, are you showing that video again?
I am. No
Yeah,
audio.
So that
I did share audio if you want to hear it, but
No.
muted.
No, I'm only asking because I was curious again what is taking priority, and that the video that you're sharing is taking priority on YouTube. That's really interesting to me. How is Zoom deciding what to send out to YouTube?
The only thing I can think of is I'm co-host.
Right.
The latest share, perhaps.
I've been putting
maybe the latest-
screenshots in the chat. Are you allowing us to save the chat? Because I want to save these screenshots.
I have no idea. Let me.
The screenshots don't save in the chat anyway, I don't think. It's a
Oh,
text
okay.
file.
All right, thanks.
But you can click to download them individually.
Okay, thank you.
Frank, you can do a screenshot of the screenshots in the chat.
They're actually, like, I have my own screenshots. It's other people's things that were contributed that I wanted. So thanks.
And I actually cranked up OBS Studio recording my main screens so that I can remember what actually happened instead of going to YouTube.
So Dave,
Okay,
can you,
I'm just
can you-
looking at the video on YouTube and it's actually really clean. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that must have been me before. I apologize for that. It looked
Dave-
really. Go ahead, Robert.
David, can you check one thing, please? Because in the past, next to the share screen button as the host, you had an up arrow key where you could define whether multiple people could share at the same time. Do you still
Correct.
have that option?
Yes, I do. So I have. I don't think I had that. I don't think I had it before because on the back end I had not enabled multiple people sharing. I distinctly remember seeing that option in settings and saying, why would I ever want more than one person to share at the same time? But I went in when we started the meeting, and now I have that here. And if I'm curious, we have 3 people sharing right now. If I go back to one participant can share at a time, I wonder what's going to happen. Multiple participants are sharing. Changing this setting will end sharing for those participants. Do you want to continue? Boom. So when I made that change mid multi-share, it kills all the shares.
Okay, because this is behaving differently now. Because with this, I didn't notice when this changed, but what we do when we're running a multilingual meeting is we get the main language share to go in. So the person who's sharing his main, for example, PowerPoint presentation in English, to start his share, that appears on the screen. Then we take the next version and allow someone else to share, for example, the French version, and someone else to share the German version. And then we tell the participants to choose from the view options which language they'd like to view the PowerPoint in. And then, of course, you've got to manually get someone to click simultaneously so that you're all in sync, because we don't have a multi-system clicking to advance the slides. And the way that worked was the first person who shared was always first, the second person second, and the third person third. Now it's putting it alphabetically, which is different. That's a different behavior.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Should we just should we just double check that? So let's have just maybe 2 people with different names share, and we can see which one goes where.
Yeah, but have you got the option on next to the share button?
Yep. So you have to have that on to do the share all screens. Oh no, sorry, I changed it back. You're right. I'm so sorry. I clicked on one participant. All right, I just put it back now. Thank you for reminding me. All right, so Robert is sharing, and he went to my second monitor.
And I shared as the first person, correct?
Yep, you were the first person who shared.
As
And
far
now
as
Eyal just jumped in. He went to my primary Zoom monitor.
that's exactly what happened to my end as well.
And when I go into view options, Eyal is listed first, Frank is second because he just started sharing, and Robert is third. So is that what you were expecting, or is that the different behavior?
I'm not 100% sure because we're
Neither am
looking
I.
at two monitors now, and the usual behavior is when you have one monitor.
Okay.
So we need to ask anyone who's only on one monitor what he's seeing, which share screen he's seeing. Anyone got one monitor? No. Okay.
I would.
Boy, what does that say about us?
No
Nerd.
comment.
I got it.
Excuse me.
Okay, so when I stop sharing now, then we should switch to Eyal's because he shared that as a second.
So Frank, for me, Frank came onto my second screen now. Eyal stayed right where he was on the first screen.
Correct. That's what happened to me as well.
Yeah, for me, what I ended up doing was I started the meeting dual monitor, but because of the CPU being pegged out with everything that I had open there, I actually took off dual monitor mode.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Dual monitor does take, it requires more CPU.
Did for
Gosh,
me.
you think maybe twice.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. Huh.
Mike,
I'm
you
just,
mean you
I've
don't have
never,
a second GPU?
say again?
You don't have a second GPU on that computer?
I don't know.
I think Zoom prioritizes or uses the CPU more for video stuff because they can't be certain if people have dedicated GPU cards and stuff, or even more than one GPU.
Yeah, good old Windows Task Manager was telling me that I'm officially right now, Zoom is using my GPU 0, not my GPU 1 for Robert's reference. And officially I'm using 3D mode of my GPU right now.
By the way, I'm not sure if there's a correlation. What's the saying? Correlation doesn't necessarily mean causation, or whatever the saying is. But I've been keeping an eye on the stream status for YouTube, and now it's at excellent. But while we've been doing all this stuff, like the bit rate was off. The bit rate was lower than we wanted it to be, and the stream status was good or iffy. So again, I'm not sure how Zoom is handling all the screen shares and all that data, but it seems like it was affecting the stream a little bit.
You know, I have a funny feeling that there's a bit of an issue outside of our control because yesterday we were doing the Mimo Live lab. There's some of us attached to the Frankfurt server and some to I think it was in Atlanta. And the people in Atlanta were dropping down to 720p and then coming back to 1080, 720, 1080.
Wow.
And it was very, very strange. Very, very strange. So I don't know if there's an issue outside of our infrastructure.
That's interesting.
Blame it on AT&T.
Frank, was there something else that that you think that we could or should be playing around with this piece, or have we banged on it sufficiently?
I think we banged on it pretty good for today. I wonder if you did a local record. I imagine as the host you would probably get whatever's on your main screen, but I don't know. I've heard of people who proctor, who record the sessions while they proctor to go back and check things, but
Interesting.
again, I think Zoom deliberately didn't call this proctoring mode for some internal reason. But informally, when I was discussing it with them for the last 2 years, we kept calling it proctoring mode, and they didn't object. But
Pete, go ahead. Pete, did you want to jump in?
Muted Pete.
if this proctoring mode is for an instructor to verify that the students are doing stuff or not cheating, they can probably still cheat if they have a second computer, right?
Yeah, I mean, cheating, like distance delivery of education is fraught with all kinds of perils, and the way you design exams and stuff can have a lot of impact on cheating. But there are testing centers who wanted to be able to see every screen as one of many approaches to limiting cheating. It's not going to be the only way to prevent cheating. It's just one way to prevent cheating, and usually evaluation design plays a big role in preventing cheating as well. Like you have 60 minutes to answer 60 questions, so either you know it or you don't know it, and searching's not going to help you because you'll run out of time. That's one example of test design that prevents cheating. I mean, we have a professor here who can probably talk to this much more than I can.
You mean one in Canada, or did you mean the former?
I meant a real professor, not an honorary.
But
Professor?
Frank,
John is a
Professor?
John
Yeah,
is a professor emeritus.
yes. Students, if they want to cheat, will cheat. And we've noticed students who work harder at cheating than it would be to do the actual work. But it's really a small minority, and a good faculty member has a good enough relationship with their students that they usually could detect if it's not their work. And good evaluation techniques solves it. But, you know, for you have things where it's random. I've been working with amateur radio licensing, so that's done through volunteer examiners, and they actually have 3 Zoom observers watching the person going through the exam, and at the higher levels there's a code test. But I think this is much better in terms of a tool that could be used for better classroom interaction, and students like to see what other students are doing. And when you're critiquing work, that's a good thing to do. Let me turn this off. Of course, I get a phone call when I'm talking, but.
Mike, what's that question?
Okay, so we have Curtis from YouTube is asking us, hey, Zoom Test Kitchen Gurus, a 2-part question when you have a minute. Okay, is it possible to have more than one API token live captioner, as in for English and French, within Zoom, same for live ASL in 2 languages?
I can answer the second one. You can have multiple captioners, but they work in relay. Only one's. Sorry, this is about captioners, or oh, sorry, I thought it was
The second
about
one's ASL.
I was thinking about American Sign Language. So Zoom has a mode for ASL or for sign language that pops out an additional window that you can expand and contract and move around your screen. It works in relay, so usually, at least in Canada, in my experience, ASL translators work in pairs so that they usually don't sign for more than 15 minutes at a time, so they can take rests. And you can have them do that, but you can't have multiple, like you couldn't have
ASL and NSL.
NSL, exactly.
I've got the New Zealand guys want to have their own.
Yeah. So there
visual
are
translator.
there are other sign languages. There's no way in Zoom I know of right now that's built in to have multiple sign languages happening at the same time.
I don't think so.
Robert, go ahead.
I was just waiting for Frank to finish. I didn't understand the first part of that question.
Can you have 2
I don't know
languages?
what an API token has to do with having a live captioner. What is an
I think
API
he's talking
token?
about two captions, French and a German running at the same time. Wasn't that what he was meaning?
Yeah, the only reasoning I think Robert agree, the API token portion is an interesting. Curtis, if you could expand on that in YouTube and we can continue with that. But right now, as far as the API token will be concerned, I don't think there should be any concern as long as you're using the infrastructure, unless you're going outside of using a client or outside using possibly other third-party apps, then the API token might come into play. But
Yeah, if you were going to
elaborate
write
more.
if you were going to write an app to basically collect all of the languages in, you know, a side stream or something, you would probably need one connection per language. I don't think there would be multiple APIs to be able to grab all of them in one stream.
One API token is one stream on YouTube. So you cannot duplicate. You'll have to go out, replicate, add the captions, and go into a second API token. So think about it as in YouTube, every API token generates a live stream that translates to a live URL for the viewers to see.
Okay, and then just going back to the second part, Frank, I actually run events with multiple sign language interpreters in different languages.
Using the built-in Zoom ability?
Correct.
I've never seen anyone do that, so tell me more, please.
Yeah, the only limitation is that the person who's selecting the sign language can only select one to watch. So you can define and have, say, 5, 10, whatever it is, sign languages defined. And you can have signers who are working and doing all the work, but the person who's watching has to select one only. He can't select a multiple amount of signers to watch.
Then it's progressed. That's great news.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have that? I don't know if you have that configured on your account.
I do have it configured in my account. I can show it if you want.
That'd be great. I'd love to see that.
Okay. Let me see if I can share this.
It might be hard because it's not your meeting, though, right?
I'll just share it and just do a share screen. I'm going to share my desktop. And I don't know if that's visible. It's in the middle of the desktop over here. You can select sign language interpretation video channels, multiple. You can just keep going.
Each one is one layer.
Why does it look, is it just me or am I seeing your desktop in like a sliver?
Yeah, right now it looks 9 by 16, Robert.
Yeah, because I have a vertical screen desktop.
Ah, okay, sorry.
Yeah. I have one horizontal, one vertical, because the vertical allows me to put a lot of things next to each other and underneath.
Share just the window?
You know, I've got, okay, let me see. I don't, okay, give me a second, because I've got so much stuff open here. I'm just a little bit cautious. Let me just try.
Right, even better to just share that one window that way. Yeah.
Is that better?
Ah, that's better, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Nice. Oh, I've never seen that before. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to.
But this has always been here. I've always seen this ever since sign language started.
This is the live one that opens a new window for the person who wants to consume it.
Correct.
All
this
right.
is the sign language part, and above that you have the interpretation, the language interpretation.
So can I ask you a question about this? You know how in the ASL, for example, let's say you have 3 or 4 people doing the same language. Person 1 has priority. So all 4 people, let's say, can have all their cameras on. If person 1 has their camera on, it supersedes all the other cameras. That's the one you're talking about?
No.
That's the one I was talking about.
Okay, that's the grouping. If they're all on the same language, select on the same language, then they're in a queue, and the hierarchy is from the first one at the top.
Right.
But you can have multiple queues for different sign languages.
Okay, so I didn't know that.
Yeah. This has always been here, actually. This isn't anything new on Zoom side. Okay. I don't understand the API, but EL has explained that you can only have one channel going out, one stream per key. So that's.
Yeah, to YouTube, you can only go one. And Robert, what you were explaining are layers. So these are layers that Zoom takes into the system, and it allows the user to point to that layer and only see that layer. And I think the share screen feature is built on this logic, but it's a bit much more advanced.
I believe you. I don't know.
Yeah. No, but the interpretation, the multi-interpretation, the multi-sign language, it's been working on Zoom for a while. I was on another panel, and when we were in the green room, we were actually talking about it. It's a very neat feature, and it helps the participants to select the language they want to read with, the movements.
So is there a difference in functionality between meeting and webinar for what you're discussing?
No, there's no difference at all. I've used this functionality on a hybrid event. I'll actually put a big vertical monitor on the stage and have one signer on one monitor, second language on the second monitor, so people in venue can just move their eyes from left to right to choose the language that they want. So it's been here for a while, and that's something I did about 2 years ago. So it's nothing new in that area.
Yeah, it's very practical in large auditoriums. If you can put on one screen English and one screen Spanish, French. Very, very practical feature.
Yeah, it's very distracting though, because people tend to move backwards and forwards. I don't know if there's anyone here. I think you are Dave, Ray. You were here when we did the first Zoom events introduction here on Zoom Test Kitchen, and I brought in 12 interpreters, and we did the interpretation into 6 different languages. The feedback was that no one was listening to the speakers. Everyone was playing with the interpretation, listening to the different languages.
Right. Right.
When was that? Is there a recording of that?
That was in times of Jeff, and yes, we have recordings. Jeff,
Okay.
The before times, the times of Jeff.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to share my
David.
screen here real quick. This is a picture that I took at Zoomtopia this year. I happen to be the second row at Zoomtopia. They had some fancy chairs to sit there. And so what you see is exactly what Robert was describing. There's a giant TV down in front of the audience and also one on either side. And there's an ASL guy there on the left. There's German, and then there's French, one order or the other down there below while the speaker on stage is speaking. And they put the QR code up on the screen, which allows you to activate the companion mode of the Zoom application, which allows people in the audience to watch the translations in other languages on their device.
Can you talk a little more about that companion mode? Like the QR code comes up, and I thought at Zoomtopia they had done something so that there was no ability for people to hear the audio, so there'd be no audio feedback.
That's the option that you get with companion mode. When you scan that, your Zoom app comes up and the audio and camera mode are turned off. You can turn it on, but they don't want you to, obviously, because it'll give you the feedback. So they've referred to it as the companion app, like it's a whole different app that you have to upload or download or whatever. And it's not. It's the regular Zoom app. It just knows when it reads the QR code, hey, turn off the audio and the camera because you're inside the venue.
Can I ask a question? Not having anything to do with this. I just saw something I've never seen before. So I got a message, a direct message from Ray saying, have to jump. And then I went to give him a reaction, and I got that little yellow pop-up at the bottom there that says, Ray's no longer in the meeting.
Yeah.
Is that new, or have I just never seen that?
It's been there for a while.
Oh, has it? Okay. I like that.
I have people who, look, I got to drop and boom, they're gone. And I'm doing the same thing. And that pops right up.
Yeah. Okay.
But Dave, but you can allow the chat to continue after the meeting, and then it'll go to the Zoom client chat. If Ray
Which no one will ever check. Right. Or at least I don't ever check it. I don't check it.
I'm a team chat user.
I know you are.
Yeah, I know you use Microsoft Teams chat, but do you use Zoom chat?
Yes.
By the way, speaking of Teams, by the way, I was in a state-run meeting the other day on Teams. I don't know why. They usually do them on Zoom. They did it on Teams. And the first 10 minutes of the meeting was listening to all the speakers try and figure things out. And I in the chat, I wrote, we can hear you. It was such a disaster. Whether or not you think Zoom is better than something else, there really is something to be said for using the tool that people know how to use. And in this case, it was definitely not Teams.
Well, and my opinion about that particular situation, and maybe it's just because I don't have any exposure, but there are plenty of us out here that really understand Zoom really, really well and can go into a meeting and can help people. And I've been in Teams meetings off and on over the last couple of years, and I've never run into anybody who actually knows Teams really, really well. I get why don't you try this and why don't you try that? But I don't get someone who says very definitively, listen to me, I have the steps that you need to follow.
Yeah, Robert.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Robert.
I just wanted to share with you, I did some training on for sign language using Zoom and for Microsoft Teams. And when we got to the Microsoft Teams session, the session was 2 hours long. And this was for the Association of Signers in the UK. About 3/4 of that time just went to me explaining functionality on Teams, Microsoft Teams. And it's not because, I don't know what it is. Maybe Zoom has taken an approach that is where usability has been a priority, and Microsoft never did that because it's so old. Maybe that's the issue. But the 3/4 of the time of the training on one subject was just on how to use Microsoft Teams. It's very challenging.
Yeah. By the way, don't put your hand down, Robert. If some of you may remember that we discovered a couple weeks ago that the hands are supposed to automatically go down. So I'm just curious if that actually happens. Go ahead, Pete.
In my experience with Teams, which is very little, I had to use it once for a client. It worked fine because they had to use it, even though they didn't want to use it. And also, for those who have Stream Decks, there's supposedly a plugin for this, but the plugin doesn't work at all. So
there you go.
Yeah, let's not talk about Teams as if it's the worst thing on earth. I mean, there are multiple people millions of people using Microsoft Teams every single day, especially in the corporate environment where it's all built in and interfaced with the other functionalities that they get from Windows. Whenever I go into a corporate event and I have to do anything, I do all of the mixing outside and just deliver one video stream and the sound to the event. I don't do any of the work in Microsoft Teams at all.
Yeah. No one's
and I agree. There's definitely companies that use it company-wide and they've done all the training and that sort of stuff. But if someone's going to have an external meeting and invite a whole bunch of people and external speakers and that sort of stuff, I've never seen that go well. So that's kind of my experience.
I didn't mean.
I'd sort of look at what age group you're looking at. If I look at my school kids, they can jump from a Teams meeting to a Zoom meeting and it makes no difference.
Oh yeah.
And I wasn't bringing it up to bash another product. Just it was more about the what you were saying, Ray, about for 10 minutes listening to people try and figure out just how to use it. Just yeah.
Good try, David. Good try.
What? Yeah. And Robert's hand is still up. It still hasn't gone down. So I don't know what happened to that feature, but
I was going to say, Robert broke that feature. Robert broke that feature last time too, by the way.
Did he? But I'm not crazy, right? That was we did discover that, didn't we?
But it works in a different way. I lower my hand, then I put it up.
And now you muted yourself.
Yeah, I'm
really cough.
Wait.
I'm not meant to be speaking. I need to be quiet.
Right.
That's why we're trying to see if it goes down, right? Yeah. I think that's a great feature, but doesn't seem to be.
Jupiter and Mars have to be in perfect alignment for this feature to work.
You said you think it's a great feature. There's so many people who hate this feature and are asking Zoom to get rid of it, or to put an option in the meeting scheduling to either enable it or disable.
Yeah.
Remember when Adam Tao was doing I think it was on Zoom Cuts. He was Zoom Cuts. He said, "Let's pray that the demo gods are with us today, so that everything goes well."
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe I never noticed.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to ask if we're at a little breaking point. I wanted to make a small discussion of something that I've been doing in the background here for a little bit. I've got a few people and I together to basically form a little group of small business Zoom events producers, and we're kind of coming together to maybe try and attract attention to us, not just as individuals because marketing is tough, but to kind of share among ourselves and attract potential clients and that sort of thing. And I've been trying to talk to people in Zoom since Zoomtopia about this, and Denise Lahat has also tried to talk to people about that in the same time frame, and we've really made no inroads with the folks in Zoom because they've been changing jobs and moving around, which is kind of normal. And so I sort of made the decision at the end of the year that I'm just going to go ahead and kind of launch this thing and see what happens. And so I know, Robert, you're a guy who does events for other people, which I thought you were just using the language thing on your own. I didn't realize you did work for other people. That's good. So if you know of anybody, again, typically small businesses and that sort of thing, that I would love to sort of bring them into the group. And that way, when we attract some stuff, I can kind of go, oh, where are you geographically? We probably want to, I've had some work in the UK that I've passed off to some folks in the UK, and I've been, had some people in the UK who have clients in the United States, and they've gone, Ray, can you take care of this and that sort of thing. So we're both working together, and also I'm involved. I go to the Zoom events office hours on Wednesday mornings, and I'm here, and I'm on the Zoom community, and I'm on Denise's Facebook group with Zoom, and I get people literally every week, between 2 and 5 people contact me and go, "Hey Ray, what about this?" And so I'm trying to be a focal point, and then be able to sort of farm out work. I'm old and sort of semi-retired, and I've got a good base of customers, and I'm happy to kind of spread the word out to other people. So if you know of anybody else that's interested in it, I picked the name just sort of not really out of the hat, but I'm calling it Z-Span with a hyphen. So if you, it's the Zoom Skilled Producer Affiliate Network. Sort of a backronym out of that.
The problem with that is that no one watches C-SPAN. So
right. Right. So I'm hoping people will go, Z-SPAN, what is that? At any rate. And I've recently made a contact with someone in Zoom at a lower level who I sort of explained the concept to. I mean, that was literally earlier this week. And he said, oh my word, we need some people like you that can help us who are trying to help people in after sales and that sort of thing. So I've managed to start to make some inroads there. And just if you know of anybody, have them go to zspan.com, and there's a place there to either get on a list that will send me your email, or a place to actually schedule a 30-minute briefing with me, and happy to explain the overall concept there.
We in the Jewish world, when we all started getting on Zoom, one of the roles at a service is called a gabbai, and basically that person kind of, I don't know, helps make sure people are on the right page, and moves stuff around, and does this. And so I started a training called a Zoom gabbai tech training to teach folks who could sit in the Zoom and do some of that work, some of this work that you're talking about, for the synagogues and the temples that were doing this. And I actually was thinking about setting up some sort of matchmaking platform, so that communities that needed someone who knew Zoom,
yes,
could find someone who knew Zoom who was looking for. And so I think it's a lovely idea.
Yeah.
Tell me again.
And I've already
ZSPAN.
Yeah.
Can you type that in the chat, please?
SPAN.
I put it in chat already.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
So
The-
wait,
the world
there's a
of
hyphen
acronyms.
Yes.
because I put it without a hyphen and that didn't work.
Without the hyphen, if you want zspan.com with no hyphen, you can pay $2,000 for the domain name. I wasn't going to do that.
Yes, you can. So here's zspan.com. And for those of us who want to, I'm not sure you want to vet me, but so how do we give you our info? Where do we do that?
So click the little purple button there, and there's a little blurb with some information. And down at the bottom, you can either schedule a meeting, or you can just put your name and email in there, and you should get a response from me within a day. I'm usually pretty quick on that.
All right, I've made first contact.
Cool.
Hooray, thank you. This is fantastic.
And I've already been doing this informally. I've been going to the Zoom events, office hours, and people come in who have brand new Zoom events licenses. And if I find someone who's really, really struggling, I look them up on LinkedIn and go, hey, would you like some help? And invariably the answer is yes. And I had one group that's out of the UK, and I put them in touch with Imogen and Lisa, and they're helping them out. And so I've already kind of doing this. I said, let's sort of make it a little bit more formal. So if you know anybody or any of you that do work for other people.
So how do people get matched up? How do you make that do? If people are in need of help, they reach out to you, and then you make them the match?
I'm sort of the focal point at this point. And again, among the people who have sort of joined in with me, I've sent them a little pilot program document that sort of describes how I would like to run in the next 6 months, really just to see how things work. I'm sort of calling today the soft launch. And then in another month or so, we'll start hitting some social media and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'll sort of have the 30-minute interview with someone who's brand new and wants to explain, what kind of event and where and when and that sort of thing. And go, okay, well, I've got 3 people. Where would you rather have them be from? Near you, far from you? I've got someone perfect, but they're on the other side of the earth, and I've got someone that I think can probably do your work, and they live right next door to you. So I'll try and do that, and maybe talk to them directly to see which would be a good fit.
That's wonderful. Good for you. That's fantastic, Ray.
Ray,
Definitely.
I'm taking my hat off for you, and I've already signed up because one of the reasons there's no response from Zoom is that Zoom has no idea how to handle small businesses. And it's not just a Zoom problem, it's a problem with most corporate organizations.
Yes.
Small businesses are a real challenge to manage. The individual cost of service is so high compared with the revenue they get from those individual licenses.
Right.
So I can fully understand that. So I admire you for doing this because it's really, really a big thing. Good job. And
Thanks.
I really hope it goes well. for you and
Yeah,
for the whole of
thanks.
the community.
And I'll just give you another example separate from that. I decided to help me do communication. I needed something like a CRM, and I signed up for Salesforce. What a disaster that was as a solo person trying to get anything out of Salesforce. It was just horrible. And I ended up, I don't know how I got the link to a company called Freshdesk out of India. And they have basically a corporate thing that 1 or 1,000 people, we treat the companies the same. And I've already spent several hours. They've groomed me, provided me with information. And I think about that, and I think about the customer service model that Zoom has that really favors the $100,000 companies. And we have to do what we can together to help each other out. So yeah, appreciate that. Thanks, Robert.
We've lost David.
David is MIA. David, come back.
He wanders off on occasion.
Come back, David. Come back.
So Ray, I think this is a great idea. And I actually have friends at the C-SPAN. And I can tell you why the Z-SPAN website is more expensive. It's an interesting story of the challenges C-SPAN has.
Oh yeah.
I'm just going to interrupt for a moment. Mike, I just passed you host. We just got a bomb threat in our synagogue, so I'm going to go take care of that. But
oh, bless you, David.
Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. This was fantastic today. I learned so much. Thank you so much.
Good.
See you soon.
Good stuff.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care, David.
Thanks, David.
Back to you, John.
Oh,
Wait a second. He just said he's had a bomb threat. Like it was no big deal. Like I can't believe that.
Yeah, but about 2 weeks ago, remember, David said, "Robert, can you take over the host because I have 911 call."
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
I don't know if it happens all the time, but it seems as if he knows how to manage it very well.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
you get used to it.
Home guy.
The university that's near my house a number of years ago would get a number of bomb threats, and it kind of coincidentally happened during the day while classes are happening. And whenever that happened, of course, they have to evacuate the building, everything else, and the traffic jam was just horrendous of everyone trying to leave.
It was a massive hoax, right? Hundreds of calls all over the country, and the FBI pinpoint what it was.
Absolutely. So, John, you were saying, did you finish your thought, John, before David was talking?
Yeah, no, I finished my thought, but it reminded me back in my days at the university when we had a lot of fire drills during finals week. And finally, they started putting plates over the things and warning students because that was an attempt of getting out of taking exams.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything wrong with it. You know, that's the comment you get from some kids. You know, I don't see what the big deal is. Yeah.
But Ray, I do really like what you're doing there. I think this has always been a challenge. Zoom Test Kitchen lets us really push the envelope on people using it as much as Zoom tries to test everything. Today's was great because we really did do a lot of pushing on a fairly major release. Between that release and the updates that they did for Mac OS, they're pushing a lot of stuff out.
Yeah. Well, and like my New Zealand client, you know, they've got an annual budget of 10 to 15 grand. They can't afford professional services rates from Zoom at $300 an hour. And, you know, so for, you know, under 10 grand, we've got the whole thing put together, and they've got paper attendee licenses, and they're probably going to have around 2,000 registrants, and we'll see how many attendees there are. It'll be an interesting gig for them and for me.
I would do it for just the what is it, Milano socks, all the sheep they have there that they turn into wool.
Yeah. Interesting. Are we
All
done?
right, right. Yeah, sorry, I was just typing there, just letting everybody on YouTube know if anybody else has any final questions. Anybody else on the panel have any final questions before we break for our weekend? So that everybody understands that it officially is only March 1st today, not yesterday, today. And got to keep that in mind. Anybody?
I have to remember to update my Zoom client before Zoom Test Kitchen. That's
Yes.
the reminder for next week.
Right. And on top of that, too, I don't know if David has any homework for us this week because he did run away. I'm not privy to any. But yeah, you never know. So definitely, I'm glad I had a quick little PowerPoint there ready to go. So when we were called upon for sharing and stuff. So anything else exciting from anybody? I'm just looking at the chat to see if there's anything on YouTube. Everybody's pretty quiet there as well. But we got we got some hefty amount of people watching. I don't know if that's everybody here that's also monitoring themselves in YouTube or not, but that's kind of funny too. But okay. Frank, any last words from our Canuck? Since we got 3 Canucks in here today?
No. Have a nice weekend. There'll be more release notes soon enough, and we'll have more things to learn about.
Did we go through all of it? Would be a question. I know that we spent a lot of time on the sharing, but did we go through everything, Frank?
I don't know. I think we sort of talked about it a week ago, but I was looking at the release notes during the show today. Or there's more to dive into, but it could take another hour, so probably better save for next week.
All right. And on that note, too, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just checking the release notes here, too. And I think I saw that there's actually going to be another release. Frank, are you privy to anything that we don't know about? I see a March 3rd one.
I don't like discussing those things. I have obligations I have to keep. But
understood. So maybe is the answer. Everybody, all in favor of maybe? Okay, there we go. Motion carried. Yeah, we all understand. Yeah, it's usually the dead giveaway, but it definitely looks like it's related to whiteboards. That's what they're at least telling us in the release notes on the webpage. So it should be interesting. And again, Frank, that usually means that they're maybe releasing it this week. That's what that usually means.
One thing I look at that I think everyone can look at for the release notes is sometimes they'll give you a heads up about release notes in advance that anybody can see. But I look at all the products because usually they release a lot of stuff simultaneously. So if there's, even though you may not use the product, if there's something in one tool coming out on March 22nd, there might be other things coming for other tools on March 22nd. If you get my drift.
Frank, in this release, they said that there's 68 documents. You mean you go through
That's a lot of documents.
Yeah.
Too much.
But it seems like some of the teams get their notes up faster than some of the other Zoom teams. And I just look at sort of like the dates that they're saying, and then I start to, internally think, well, if that product team has release notes up for that date, maybe the other teams will have some release notes. They're just not there yet. They're not maybe as mission complete, so they're not ready to release them. But it gives you a heads up about specific, like not specific, but potential dates.
Right. Okay. All right. So last call I'll just double check YouTube here. Any last other things? Nobody's saying anything on YouTube? All right. David left and people are leaving on YouTube. Oh, go figure. That must be a hint, guys. Okay. So everybody.
He's our star. He gets everyone to come, and then when he leaves,
I know. Everybody's bowing out now. You go ahead, Robert.
Say one thing. I've just opened the release notes for Zoom Rooms for Mac OS, and there's a statement there that says, if you're using Zoom Rooms for Mac OS on Mac OS Sonoma and wish to disable Mac OS video reactions, see our article. So there is a way of doing that.
I just thought of something. If people are using legacy equipment or legacy operating systems especially, you should go look at some of the notes that Zoom posted in the last 3 weeks about like Windows 7, Windows 8, iOS 11 and 12, and a couple other Android operating systems will be discontinued the next time there's an update.
Yeah.
So if you're using legacy OS on any platform, you may stop getting updates.
Yeah, good one, Frank. Yeah, I did see that as well. And I did see that this week there was a bit of support outages that they're looking at doing maintenance this weekend. Frank, I think you might have saw some of that too, right?
Yeah.
Like-
What I saw was a note, something to the effect of this will be the last update you'll receive if you're on these specific operating systems.
Right. Right. So you have been forewarned, people running Windows 7 and legacy Mac OSs.
I can't imagine going on the web on Windows 7 and not being worried about getting a virus or hacked or something. Like, I don't know why
Yeah,
people are doing that. Like, I can understand if it's hooked up to some production machine that makes widgets and there's no new utilities or drivers for that software, but to be on the web with that stuff, yikes.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. All right, everybody. So I guess at this point we will sign off, and we've been officially streaming for 100 minutes. That sounds like a good even number. So everybody take care. Have a good weekend. And we'll see you next week here on the Zoom Test Kitchen.
Yeah, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. See you guys.
See you, everyone.
Play the outro music. We need outro music.
I know. David didn't give me any. So bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You can always sing, Mike. You can always sing.